ancient wisdom traditions share a profound insight about our final moments, an understanding so deep it can reshape our entire perspective on life's journey. This wisdom speaks of passing in one's sleep, not as a sudden event, but as a carefully guided journey of the soul. These teachings have been quietly preserved for generations, holding transformative power for anyone who encounters them. Before we explore these profound insights, I encourage you to join our community on this journey of awareness. Subscribe and touch the notification bell, because the perspectives we will share are designed to fundamentally shift your understanding of life, sleep, and the continuity of your own consciousness. This is not mere speculation. It's an invitation to explore a deeper dimension of existence. Have you ever contemplated why some journeys end with such serene acceptance, while others are marked by resistance? Have you ever woken from a vivid dream feeling as though you had returned from a real place, questioning the nature of that reality? Or perhaps you've known the strange feeling of lightness, as if observing your own sleeping form from a distance. Ancient teachings suggest these experiences are not disconnected events. They are signposts, preparing your awareness for a transition far more significant than you may comprehend. In our time together, we will explore 7 profound insights from this wellspring of wisdom that will forever alter how you view your nightly rest and life's final transition. First, the truth of what your consciousness experiences while the body is at rest and its importance for your spiritual path. Second, a powerful account which shows that passing in sleep is a process of conscious continuation. Third, the knowledge of why certain souls choose to depart during this state of peace. Fourth, an understanding of the energetic connection, the silver thread, and how its function differs in sleep and in final transition. Fifth, verified stories of those who connected with departed loved ones in their final days. Sixth, the clear link between contemplative practices and a peaceful transition. And seventh, timeless methods for preparing your awareness for its ultimate journey. Let's begin by considering a perspective shared by wise traditions. It concerns an individual who, after a long period of physical challenge, transitioned with utmost peace in her sleep. What these teachings suggest is that for months, this soul had been in a state of preparation. It used the stillness of sleep as a gentle training ground, gradually becoming familiar with a more expansive state of being. And here is the insight that offers such profound comfort. The teaching suggests that this individual was attending a kind of soul-level classroom during her nightly rest. In these journeys of consciousness, she would travel to a realm of immense peace. There, wise and compassionate souls would guide her through the process of transition, revealing the beauty of the life beyond and helping her release all attachment and fear. And the insight deepens. Wisdom traditions teach that in the deepest states of rest, our awareness naturally untethers from the physical form. It journeys through a quiet space, a borderland between the world we know and the subtler realms of spirit. This isn't just a beautiful metaphor. It is described as a very real process. There are accounts of individuals who, during their sleep, would be met by relatives who had already passed on. These loved ones would offer guidance and reassurance, preparing them for their own eventual journey home. You might consider this to be simply a comforting idea, but remember, these insights are not born from a single source. They echo through countless traditions that have mapped the inner worlds, verified by generations of practitioners who dedicated their lives to understanding consciousness. These are not just stories. They are signposts pointing to a consistent truth about the nature of our soul. Here is a perspective that changes everything about how we understand a peaceful passing. Ancient spiritual psychology teaches that the soul does not abruptly exit when the body ceases to function. Instead, it is a gradual release, a slow, gentle withdrawal of consciousness that can unfold over hours or even days before the body's final moment. The process is described as being so graceful that the individual often does not register a distinct moment of death. They are simply guided into a state of expanded awareness until they find themselves fully present in the spiritual realm. This helps us understand the reports from caregivers and loved ones. They often describe how, in their final days, those who are leaving peacefully seem to be in communion with unseen friends. They speak to relatives who have passed, describe landscapes of incredible beauty, or express a gentle anticipation of going on a wonderful journey. These teachings suggest their transition is already underway. They are meeting the guides and family of soul who are there to help them cross the threshold. Now, consider an insight that will cause you to see sleep in a completely new light. Timeless wisdom teaches that every single night, when you enter deep sleep, you are practicing for your final transition. Your awareness journeys beyond the physical body, explores other dimensions of being, and then returns. The one fundamental difference between this nightly journey and the final one is the presence of what spiritual texts call the silver cord, an energetic tether that keeps your consciousness linked to your body. Allow this to settle in your awareness. How many times have you had a dream that was so incredibly vivid, so palpably real, that upon waking you had to question if it truly happened? How often have you dreamt of places you have never seen, yet felt a sense of belonging there, a feeling of being home? According to these deep wells of wisdom, these are not random firings of the brain. They are genuine journeys of your soul, undertaken while your body finds its necessary rest. There is an account of a man who was filled with a deep fear of passing in his sleep. He sought guidance because of his recurring dreams. Night after night, he found himself walking through stunning, otherworldly landscapes and meeting beings that felt deeply familiar, even though he had never seen them. The experiences were so profound that he would awaken feeling more rejuvenated and at peace than he had in years. But this only deepened his fear and confusion. A wise teacher shared this perspective. His soul possessed a natural gift for conscious travel during sleep. What he was experiencing were not mere dreams, but actual visits to the peaceful realms the soul returns to after physical life. The beings he met were loving guides, teaching him about higher states of existence. Instead of being a cause for alarm, his experiences were a gentle preparation for his own soul's continuing evolution. And there is an even more profound reason why some souls choose this peaceful path of transition. It is said that passing during sleep is often the soul's way of ensuring the smoothest possible journey, bypassing the fear and trauma that can sometimes disrupt the process. The soul, acting from a place of deep inner, knowing beyond the conscious mind, can align the timing of the body's release to occur during sleep, when the thinking mind's anxieties are quiet. This transforms our understanding. Instead of viewing a peaceful passing as a random or sad event, this wisdom suggests it is often an indication of profound spiritual awareness and preparation. The soul, in its boundless wisdom, selects the path of least resistance for its return to a more expansive existence. Allow me to share one story, a testament to this truth that has been passed down through generations. A woman was concerned for her elderly father. For months, he had been speaking of his dreams. In them, his own beloved wife, who had passed on years before, would come to him. She would show him beautiful gardens and places of profound tranquility, always with a comforting message to not be afraid of the journey ahead. A spiritual counselor offered a profound insight. The spirit of his wife was indeed visiting him, preparing him for his own return. She was showing him the spiritual home where they would be together again, helping him see that death is not a finality, but a beautiful new beginning. 3 weeks later, the man passed peacefully in his sleep. His daughter described the smile on his face as that of someone greeting a cherished, long-lost friend. She recalled how, in his final days, he was filled with a peace she hadn't seen in years. He would speak often of the beautiful places he saw in his dreams and of his joy at the thought of seeing his wife again. The night before he passed, he told his daughter, "Your mother is waiting for me in the most beautiful garden. Do not be sad when I go to her tomorrow." Here is what these teachings share about the actual process of transitioning in sleep that many do not understand. The consciousness does not just depart all at once. Instead, there are what could be called practice journeys that can happen for weeks or even months beforehand. During these times, the soul becomes more and more comfortable existing without the dense physical body. It learns to navigate the spiritual landscape, preparing for its permanent homecoming. But here is the part that is truly transformative to grasp. Some teachings state that individuals can even have a say in their moment of transition, receiving inner guidance about the most auspicious time for their soul's evolution. This timing may align with celestial patterns, personal spiritual milestones, or the gentle completion of life's essential lessons. Think of what this truly means. Your loved ones who departed gently in their sleep were not passive victims of fate. According to this ancient wisdom, they were active participants, working with their guides and their own higher awareness to ensure their journey happened at the perfect moment for their soul's path and continued growth. You may now be wondering about your own sleep experiences and what they signify for your own spiritual path. The teachings address this directly, offering clear guidance for anyone seeking to understand these nightly journeys of the soul. It is taught that those who have exceptionally vivid, meaningful dreams or even out-of-body sensations are often souls with a natural inclination for spiritual awareness, gifted at this form of conscious travel. These experiences are not simply psychological quirks. They are authentic spiritual journeys that serve as a preparation for the soul's ultimate evolution and the expansion of consciousness. It is also understood that certain souls are born with a heightened ability to journey consciously during their sleep. These are the people who often report powerful dreams of flying, visiting faraway lands, or speaking with loved ones who have passed. Rather than dismissing these events, the wisdom encourages us to embrace them as the valid spiritual experiences they are. And there is another insight that connects sleep, life's transition, and spiritual awakening in a way many of us never consider. Contemplative traditions have long known that practices like meditation and prayer before sleep can greatly enhance the soul's ability for conscious travel in the sleep state. This, in turn, makes the final transition of death a much smoother, more conscious event. This is why so many spiritual paths emphasize evening reflection or prayer. According to this wisdom, these practices are more than just tools for relaxation. They are a direct form of training for conscious spiritual journeying and, eventually, a conscious final transition. When you meditate before you sleep, you are preparing your awareness to remain present and steady during the natural separation that occurs when the body rests. Let me share one final account that illustrates this point with beautiful clarity. A spiritual community was reflecting on the life of one of their members, a woman who had recently passed away in her sleep after many years of dedicated contemplative practice. For over a decade, she had been a devoted part of their meditation and prayer circle, and her serene passing left them with a deep sense of peace, confirming the link between her practice and her transition. The insight that came through was that her years of dedication had trained her consciousness to remain fully aware and centered during her transition. This allowed her not only to pass peacefully, but to actively help guide other souls who were also in the process of crossing over. Her devotion to her own spiritual path had earned her the beautiful gift of becoming a guide for others on their journey from physical life back to the spiritual home. Here is what changes everything about how you should approach your own rest and spiritual life. This wisdom suggests that every night presents you with an opportunity. It is a chance to practice conscious spiritual travel, to connect with guides and teachers, and to prepare your own awareness for its beautiful evolution beyond the physical form. Your sleep is not just restorative downtime for your body. It is a place of higher learning for your soul. Specific guidance has been passed down for those who wish to cultivate more awareness during their sleep. You can keep a journal by your bed to honor and remember your spiritual journeys. You can practice meditation before rest to center the mind, and you can hold a clear intention to learn from and remember the profound experiences that happen when your body is still. The environment you create is also important. The state of your mind and heart before you sleep directly influences the quality of your soul's nightly travels. And now, perhaps the most profound perspective of all on transitioning during sleep. It is taught that souls who leave this world peacefully in their rest often do so because they have completed the lessons they came here to learn. They are ready for the next chapter of their spiritual journey. Their peaceful departure is a form of graduation, not a tragedy. It is a sign that the soul has successfully finished its curriculum in this earthly school and is ready for a more advanced education in higher dimensions of being. This completely reframes how we view the passing of our loved ones in their sleep. Instead of it being seen as abrupt or unexpected, we are invited to recognize it as a mark of spiritual completion and a conscious choice. The soul, in its deep wisdom, has understood that its earthly work is done and has chosen the most gentle and graceful path for its journey onward. It is also taught that these souls often continue to serve as loving guides for those of us still on our physical journey. Their gentle transition allows them to maintain a strong, loving connection to this world, making them ideal helpers for those still navigating their own life lessons. Let us explore the silver cord and its role in the nightly journey versus the final one. Ancient texts describe this as the luminous, energetic thread that links our consciousness to our physical body. It allows our awareness to travel far during sleep and yet always provides a path to return. This is a real, subtle energy phenomenon that connects our physical self with our spiritual self. During sleep, this cord is elastic, allowing consciousness to journey through vast inner landscapes while remaining connected to its physical anchor. During the final transition, this cord is released, but this is never a random or accidental event. It is always a conscious act undertaken by the soul when it is fully ready to transition permanently into spiritual existence. There are countless stories of people in near-death states who find themselves moving through a tunnel toward a brilliant light, meeting loved ones, only to be told that it is not yet their time because their energetic cord remains intact. Their soul has determined their earthly purpose is not yet complete. But there is a remarkable insight about advanced souls and their relationship with this energetic connection. It is taught that through discipline and practice, a spiritually developed person can learn to consciously work with their own energetic cord. This allows for more intentional and meaningful spiritual travel during sleep. These individuals often become living bridges between the physical and spiritual realms, capable of bringing back profound wisdom and guidance for the good of all. A natural question then arises: what happens to our awareness right after this cord is released? Consciousness does not suddenly sever all ties to the life it just left. Instead, there is a period of gentle adjustment. The newly transitioned soul learns how to operate in a purely spiritual state while still holding a loving awareness of the loved ones still in their physical lives. This period of adjustment is why so many people report feeling the distinct presence of a loved one who has recently passed. It is why they receive signs or feel their unmistakable guidance during challenging moments. The newly transitioned soul is learning to communicate from a different dimension, offering comfort and support to those it still holds in its heart. Allow me to share one last story that captures this beautifully. A woman was overcome with grief after her husband passed away suddenly in his sleep. In a moment of quiet reflection, a deep sense of peace washed over her, and with it, an intuitive knowing. She understood that her husband's soul was trying to connect with her in her own sleep state, to bring her comfort and to show her that his transition had been a journey into profound peace and beauty. She was encouraged to pay attention to her dreams and to trust the feeling of his presence. She came to understand that the bond of love is a bridge that transcends physical death, and that her husband was using that eternal bridge to stay connected and support her through her own journey of healing. Now, let's explore how we can prepare for a conscious transition through our own spiritual practice. The teachings are clear. Those who dedicate themselves to spiritual awareness during their life are actively preparing their consciousness for a fully conscious transition. This preparation is about learning to identify from the physical form while remaining fully rooted in our spiritual identity. Several practices are recommended for this inner work. A daily meditation helps your consciousness become comfortable existing independently of the physical body. Prayer and spiritual study open your awareness to the reality of the spiritual dimensions. Acts of service and kindness develop the qualities of the soul that are necessary for life in a higher state of being. And conscious dream work during your sleep gives you direct, practical experience in spiritual travel and communication. It is taught that souls who transition consciously in their sleep often do so precisely because they have mastered these practices during their lifetime. Their conscious passing is the final, beautiful demonstration of their spiritual development, a sign they have learned to identify with their eternal spiritual self rather than their temporary physical existence. And here is a perspective from the wisdom traditions that might surprise you. Some souls are said to intentionally choose a life path that will culminate in a peaceful transition during sleep, precisely so their experience can serve as a powerful and reassuring example for others. Their gentle passing helps to dissolve the fear of death for all who witness it or learn of it. These souls, it is taught, come here with a specific mission to demonstrate the beauty and serenity of a conscious spiritual transition. Their lives and their deaths become a teaching for others who are awakening to the true, unchanging nature of existence beyond the physical body. The timing of this passing is also addressed. It is never random. It is always in harmony with spiritual law and the soul's own evolutionary journey. This timing often corresponds with the completion of life lessons, the achievement of a spiritual milestone, or when conditions are most favorable for the soul's next great phase of learning and growth. As we draw this shared reflection to a close, let's consider the practical path this wisdom lays before us. You can begin preparing right now for your own eventual, conscious transition. You can do this by developing the very same practices that allow for conscious travel during sleep. A consistent meditation practice, the study of timeless wisdom, selfless service to others, and paying mindful attention to your dream experiences all contribute to your soul's readiness for its great journey onward. We are taught that death is not something to be feared, but a passage to be prepared for with awareness and even a sense of joy. It is described as the soul's graduation from the foundational learning of this world to a more advanced spiritual education in higher dimensions. It is also said that souls who prepare consciously for their transition often experience a far more beautiful and expansive existence immediately after. Their preparation allows them to access higher spiritual realms and opportunities for service much more readily. Remember, according to the timeless wisdom of the ages, a peaceful passing in sleep is not random, it is not a tragedy, and it is never something to fear. It is most often the conscious and wise choice of a soul that has completed its earthly lessons and is ready for its next great adventure. The next time you lie down to sleep, hold this thought in your heart: you are not just resting your body. You are embarking on a spiritual journey, a journey that serves as preparation for the ultimate adventure of consciousness, your eventual, beautiful, and fully conscious transition into the purely spiritual state of being. Your sleep is not downtime. It is training time for your soul's eternal journey. Every night, you practice the skills you will one day use for your final graduation from physical existence into a life of unlimited spiritual freedom. If this exploration has opened your mind to new possibilities about your own consciousness and its journey, I invite you to subscribe and continue this path of discovery with us. Share this with anyone who you feel may be ready to look at life and death through a new lens, and feel welcome to share in the comments any profound dream or sleep experiences of your own. Your inner experiences may be far more significant than you have ever imagined, preparing you for the greatest journey of all. Remember, death is not an end. It is a conscious graduation to a higher way of being, and your sleep is the nightly practice session for that ultimate spiritual adventure. Every night, you are being prepared for the most beautiful journey your soul will ever take.